What is happening? Happy Tuesday night. Hope all is well with you on this gorgeous night. Last week I've been just swamped, and as we try to build this thing up, I'm doing a lot of different things. As many of you guys know, listen to the radio shows, and I say shows because I have several of them. But on those shows, the thing I've noticed over the last 2 weeks doing this on a daily basis is the insanity of which the Democrats, and I say that, I'm not talking about the average Democrat. I'm talking about the political Democrat who's lost their effing mind, who's out there crying and screaming and yelling over Elon Musk because Elon's evil. You guys understand that? The evil that is Elon. He's crazy. He's a lunatic. He's going to steal your social security number, and then he's going to take all the money out and he's going to put it and he's going to get bit dollars. It's embarrassing. And as I watch them out there, which again, I've got nothing else to do because that's what I do for a living. And I sit there and I think, okay, you're fighting supposedly for who? Because the average person looks at all this stuff, whether it's the USAID or all this other crap, and they're like, this is a bunch of shit. Nobody wants to do this crap. It's not about aid. It's not about saving a kid in Somalia or Sudan. It's not about helping a kid who needs fresh water and school in, some far-flung, war-torn. You guys are making puppets for gender insanity. You're trying to protect yourself because you've got this bizarre need to have this wacky ideology that you think the rest of the world is all about. And so, lo and behold, you go and you do this crazy shit, and then you throw a bunch of money away, and people get pissed. That's why nobody's on your side in this. And then when you hear about yesterday I'm watching the Consumer Financial, Protection Bureau. And you got Maxine Waters out there, and she's like, screaming and yelling, doing the Maxine stuff. Elon, you get your ass out here. And she starts talking about, well, this bureau was created in 2008, this agency. And before that, consumers had no protection, except for consumers had all kinds of effing protection, like you could not believe. It's so much protection. It wasn't under one roof, but again, it goes back to you're trying to save bureaucracy. You're not trying to save democracy. There's a difference. Bureaucracy. You're trying to save the people in DC, the federal employees. You're trying to save their jobs. The bureaucracy of a centralized location where government can have their hands in everything in the world, where it's not streamlined, where it's none of the things that the average person in the private sector would deal with. It's quite the opposite. You're reactionary, you're not forward thinking, and it's embarrassing. Earlier today, Elon was enjoying himself in the Oval Office, which, by the way, was hilarious. Because you're watching Trump and he's just sitting there and he's kind of just giggling a little bit, and Trump and Elon's kid, and I don't know which one this is. I don't know if it's the one with the 8 different XY49 or whatever it is. They're running around. He's having a good time, but he was talking about the bureaucracy in this country.
You would have to if you and sorry. So, tell you, gravitas can be difficult sometimes. If there's not a good feedback loop from the people to the government, and if you have rule of the bureaucrat, if the bureaucracy is in charge, and then what meaning does democracy actually have? If the people cannot vote and have their will be decided by their elected representatives in the form of the president and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy. We live in a bureaucracy. So it's incredibly important that we close that feedback loop, we fix that feedback loop, and that the public's elected representatives, the president, the House, and the Senate, decide what happens, as opposed to a large unelected bureaucracy.
Hear, hear. He's absolutely right. And I've never, again, government's one of those weird things where if it can be less efficient, it will. He started talking about how there's an actual, like a limestone mine, and they can only retire 10,000 people a month because the mine can only handle so much, and everything is done on paper. And blah, blah. And you start thinking to yourself, sweet mother of God, no place else would something be run this antiquated and old and be successful. Not this size. It's embarrassing. But it's all about the bureaucracy. It's about protecting government. It's not about protecting the people. It's not about protecting the needs of the people. It's not about protecting the will of the people. It's about protecting government. And the one thing that Elon gives Trump that he never had, which is his foil now. He's got a guy that's going to do stuff with him. He's got a guy that's going to take a lot of the arrows coming at him, which is something that normally Trump does on his own, right? Now he's got his Robin and his Batman. They're able to take arrows together where he didn't have that before. But he's pointing stuff out. Look, do I understand why people are nervous? You got, big balls running around looking at your stuff. Or maybe there's a 19-year-old kid who's pretty effing smart, who's going, man, you guys are, you got some stuff here that, I can't even figure out how to code it because it's 4,000 years old. It's hieroglyphics. Maybe we should think about doing something else. It's about how do we streamline it? How do we make it better? We all have to come to the realization the government's not going to shrink as much as we would like it to. We can cut some stuff around the edges. We can do a few things. How about some efficiency? How about that? You can have a big government and be efficient. You can have a smaller government and be inefficient. I'll take a medium with some efficiency. I'll take a medium where you and I are the people that benefit the most, not the bureaucrats. So when I hear people talk about the deep state, it's never the deep state the way you think. It's not some guy back there, like the Wizard of Oz, pulling the strings. It's not that. It is the bureaucrats, unelected officials, who Congress has decided gets to have as much power as they want because there's zero repercussion on them and zero repercussion on Congress. Because Congress doesn't like repercussion. They've kind of punted for a while. They're like, does anybody else want to take responsibility? We'll send this stuff out. Now you've got a bureaucratic state, and it is awful, and it's inefficient. But the thought that they're all coming to steal your souls and to take grandma's money away, and listening to people say, just the flick of a switch and grandma's never going to get her paycheck again. He's going to steal your money. He's worth $400+ billion. Do you really think he's going to steal your identity? Because if you are Elon, me, go for it, dude. Have at it. See what you can do. And then you've got people out there who are just trying to do stuff because they think this is what I should say. This is Maxine Dexter. She's from Oregon, and she's gonna be flabbergasted and flustered right here, but she's gonna show Elon the what's for.
30 seconds. So I am going to tell you that we do have to. I don't swear in public very well, but we have to fuck Trump. Please don't tell my children that I just did that.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably not his style. I'm going to say that. Probably not his style. He's probably thinking, you know what, maybe a little less house frowy. But why would you say that? Because you want to make a splash? No, because you felt embarrassed doing it. Because you think you have to go and do this is what I have to say for people to pay attention to me. We're going to have to fuck Trump. And you're doing it to rally the people that are standing there who aren't really the average person, who are bureaucrats who are upset because they're going to take X amount of dollars from the Department of Education. Okay. What's the Department of Education do? Can anybody explain it to me? Well, they said that. Can you? 90% of the funding that goes to your kid's school, my kid's school, you know where that comes from? Those are the states. So you have a group of federal, well, they decide where the money goes and how you use it instead. Our kids aren't getting more intelligent. They're not getting better educated. They're not more better at reading and stuff. It's quite the opposite. Our numbers are down, even pre-COVID. So think about that, where our numbers are now to, at least there was an excuse. It's like, well, the kids can't read, but COVID. Now it's like kids can't read. Well, stupid. No, not stupid. Too much crap going on. And it's not all the teachers' fault. It's not about teaching. It's not about any of this stuff, but we're wasting God knows how much. Are we hiring more teachers? No. Oh, I know. Are we hiring more middle management? Administrators? Yeah. Are we focusing on education and thinking, how do we think outside the box so we get more competitive? We can get kids a fresh start and move, give parents a choice. Are we doing any of that? No. Are we thinking about how we can become more bureaucratic? Add some more middle management. You know what I see around here, guys? Not enough middle management. Not enough. We need more middle management. It's frustrating. It is frustrating. Big Red, I like that. Talking about earlier, you can always chime in about he's going to steal our identity. He's bite off the dark web. I mean, they forgot to tell you that they got hacked last year and in 2020 and a bunch of other times. They forgot to tell you any of that stuff. Like, he's going to go steal it and he's going to have bit dollars. People need to relax. To think that he's going to blow everything up, and we hired Trump to shake things up. We hired Trump to move. That's what he's doing. Even people I know who are conservative, who love Trump and love what Doge is doing and love all that stuff, they're a little nervous because the thought process that's going in their mind is, it's moving awful fast. You know, they could do something. No, they're not going to blow anything up. I mean, they may blow, Hamas or somebody up, but they're not blowing up all of the stuff they want because we have rails. We have things in place. He's going to be able to cut around the edges. He's going to be able to expose a lot of the insanity. He's going to be able to do a lot of stuff that the average person wasn't going to be able to do. And in doing so, maybe some things change. But to think that all of this stuff is going away is wrong. And to overreact and to name call and to freak out. And part of that is the fact that they have no power. And that is something that they're a little scared of. But Elon's unelected. Yeah, so was Hunter Biden. So was Jill Biden. Yet both of them sat in on some of the highest level meetings, especially after the debate. They were holding court, making sure that Biden only saw certain things. Also unelected. We got a lot of crap that goes on in D.C. that is not good. But I think we need to remember that we're the bosses of this. We've sent them there, and we're the customers. And you know what? The customer's always right when it comes to the understanding of why you're supposed to be there, which is to serve us, not to serve yourself. But I've said this for years. It's the 3 Ps. It is party first, personal for politicians second, and anything left is for the people. We need to change that. There's no doubt about that. So while everybody's running around, losing their blanking minds, thinking to themselves that Elon's going to steal this, or Big Balls over here is going to teabag the Social Security Administration, or whatever they think is going to happen, it isn't going to happen. It's all theatrics. It's all for show. None of it is about you or I. They're not fighting for the little man. They're fighting for big bureaucracy. Always been that way. It'll always be that way until we remind them we are the big, you are the little, and little, you need to get to work for us. Follow along across all my social media, like and subscribe, and we'll do it again tomorrow. And check out all the radio shows. It is 6 to 9 Pacific, 9 till noon on the East Coast. You can check out RadioAmerica.com to find out all the times of playing and grab the podcast as well. You guys have a great rest of the night. We'll do it again tomorrow. What?